just on top of all the things. So, very much so appreciate it. If there's no questions or concerns or additions, then I want to seek approval of the minutes from January 27th. Can I get a motion?
I approve to approve the minutes from last week.
Second,
I second the motion.
right. All those in favor, say aye. All right. Looks like we're in good shape. The main thing that we need to accomplish today is approving the language of the Poet Laureate criteria. Then after that, I want to make sure that we're clear about the schedule going forward. I believe that because we're in February, we have maybe a couple of Monday holidays, Christine. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just one President's Day. And
Yep.
also, if we could just back up quickly,
Sure.
you asked for everyone in favor of the motion to approve the minutes. If folks could just say aye.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, you want to do it again?
Yeah. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Well, that does it. That makes it official. Now it's official. That's what we want to be. We want to be official here. Okay. So, all right. So the main thing is that Christine was able to create this document that we can all play in, add our comments and questions and notes. Um, do appreciate everyone who's been able to do so thus far. Effectively, once we approve today, then this will give the city what it needs to be able to update the Poet Laureate webpage, and then we'll begin the process about a week later. So, oh no, 2 weeks later, because I think we're going to roll out on the 17th, right? So let's walk through it together. We have the qualifications, of course, the terms of service. If there are any notes or anything that anyone would want to add here, uh, this would be a good time. And we're doing this live. This is like pressure filled in real time. So if there are any notes or comments that you like to add here, this would be a good time.
Can you guys still see my screen? My computer just did something weird.
Yes. Yes. Can you see your screen?
Nope. Hang on for
Oh,
one
okay.
second. Let's see.
Yeah, it's tough if you can't see your screen. So we have to.
Okay, I'm good now.
You're in good shape. Okay, good deal. All right, so let's walk through it together. We have the term of service, 2-year term, and to be announced by April of this year, because we are an efficient group and we want to get this thing done, right? So, if there's no notes there, we can move on to who may apply. If you can look at that body of text with the addition there, with the permission of the candidate. Any notes here? Anything we need to add? All right, we're going to keep it moving. Qualifications: be at least 21 years of age, be a St. Louis City resident, be committed to bringing poetry to a wide range of places and people, be able and available to reach St. Louis audiences, provide evidence of achievement in the art of poetry, including having a body of publicly accessible work, be poised to undertake the public role required of the laureate. Any uh any comments or questions there?
Nitpicky thing, MK, do you think on that last bullet point, should
Mhm.
laureate be a capital L?
Yes, let's do that. And also, yeah, let's just say poet laureate. This, yep,
Yep.
you got it. Perfect. All right. Anything else from this section? All right. It's exciting how everything is working in real time. Nomination requirements. So we could take a moment and we can read this ourselves. If there's anything you see, we can identify by saying the bullet point or the number if it happens to have one. So let's start with the first bullet point, a completed nomination form via the online nomination process. The online form includes, and then goes into one and two, contact information. I guess, yeah. Includes the contact information for the nominator and the nominated poet, including mailing address, phone numbers, and email address. And two, if the nomination is not by the poet, a statement from the nominated poet confirming the nominator contacted the poet and the poet has reviewed expectations of the position and agrees to the nomination. Anything there? All right. Excellent. Second bullet point, resume or curriculum vitae not to exceed 1 page, which includes special honors, awards, fellowships, and other recognition. And we know for those people who do CVs, keeping it to 1 page is its own challenge. But all good. We can make that happen. Any notes here, this section? The third bullet point, the submission should consist of a work sample, published or unpublished, of a minimum of 3 poems, not to exceed 5 pages, no more than 1 page per page, 1 poem per page. Uh, let's see, with no more than 1 poem per page. Hmm. Okay. Any thoughts there? Are we good there? Because I'm thinking about it. The submission should consist of a work sample for a minimum of 3 poems, not to exceed 5 pages, with no more than 1 poem per page. Let's say if a person has a haiku, some tercet as a poem, then that would be essentially a tercet, a 3-line poem on 1 page, and that would dominate, that would hold that space. Any thoughts here? Connor.
I guess no more than one poem per page. I That feels limiting to me in the sense that if we're saying this can't exceed 5 pages and no more than one poem per page, I what was I maybe I
Uh,
missed the discussion around that of why
no,
we have the no more than one poem per page.
No, I don't think you did. It hit me as well. So, any thoughts here? Anyone else?
Oh yeah, I agree too, because then also if it's only one page, poem per page, that also takes away from their five. And if it's like something like you said, like a haiku or something short, then I feel like it
Yeah,
should be able to be multiple. Yeah.
that's kind of what I was getting at. Is like if I can only put one poem per page, I don't know. That
No.
feels like an unnecessary requirement to me.
Yeah.
If it's helpful, this is just language from what was used last time. And I don't
Yeah.
think there's a
Okay.
reason to necessarily stick with it if the task force members think we should take it out.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Hey, Pamela, I see that you have your hand up, so I wanted to make space and acknowledge you. Anything that you want to add to the conversation? Because it seems like we're just going to omit that part of the sentence.
Yeah, I think we should omit it. And I'm wondering if there is something we should say though, because I think a lot of people who are used to submitting, for example, to like journals for publication are used to no more than one poem per page. And
Okay.
so given what you just said about short poems, which I agree with, I wonder if we should have anything in there about um, possibly putting poems of shorter than a certain length, putting, multiple on a page, or something about minimum number of words, or, that would be expected in a submission if somebody were to choose, very short works.
I'm open. What I would like to accomplish in this moment is having something that we can put down here so that we can.
I also had a quick question. Are
Mhm.
we okay with someone only submitting all short works, or is there like certain guidelines we want to set? So it's like someone can't do all haikus, or
what I want to offer is that if an applicant decided to do nothing but haikus, that we're probably kind of against them. And
Mhm.
so and then that will make our work shorter.
Mhm.
Yeah. I hope they would come with a variety. I would hope, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. All right. Yeah,
If I put
yeah.
something into the chat, we could work with it. I'm just thinking of something like if any poems are, let's say under 14 lines or something like that, we could say more than one poem per page is acceptable.
Would that work for you, Christine, if she put that in the chat?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the other thing you could think about is just saying like a minimum of 3 poems, not to exceed 5 pages, and a diversity of something is encouraged. I don't know what the wording would be, a diversity in the style or type of poem.
Mhm.
That would just help you all possibly when you're reviewing applications to not have to
Mhm.
sit and count like lines. If,
Good point.
yeah, if
Yeah.
it's 15, if it's 13, if it, yeah.
Word counts and such. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with providing that additional guidance regarding essentially this portfolio of work that they're going to provide us with. Question is, how do we put it in words, my wordsmiths? So let's figure that out. There we go.
I just put a sample up of maybe.
I am grateful to you, Pam. Thank you for doing that. So let's see.
It looks like I can't. Oh, wait, here I can't. I can view the chat. Sorry. It's not letting me scroll down on it.
Uh,
Let's see if I can copy and paste it. No, it's not letting me.
You want me to read it to you? I could do that as well.
I don't know if I can type that fast.
Quick question, Pam, do you have access to the document? Because if you do, you can add it as a comment and then within the document. Do you have access to the document, Pam?
Yeah, this is the document that was sent out, right?
Yep, yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I can do that. Okay. And then,
Like
so you want
looks
me to
like
just add
Connor
it
is
and send it later?
it looks like Connor is putting in work. But yes, no, you can just add it right now because essentially by the end of this meeting, I want us to approve the language so that
Got it.
we can go ahead and get this published.
Got it. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, Anne, for the note. Oh, it's like magic how everything is just working in this moment. Right. All right. While that's happening, we'll hold for a bit here. The good news again, the main thing that we want to accomplish in this space of time today is essentially finalizing this language and approving it for publication. So once we have that done, everything else will be about more of the workflow and logistics, which we can handle on another meeting. So
I think Connor's comments with a diversity in form and styles encouraged might
Mhm.
work towards what the task force is trying to accomplish.
Just credit where credit's due. I stole that directly from what Pamela put into the group chat.
Excellent, excellent. So
Uh,
let's go ahead and let's make sure we read over the bullet. If we're fine with it, let's approve that language within the document itself and move on to the next bullet. Thank you, Connor, for doing that. All right.
Does that look good to everybody if I accept all of the changes in this bullet?
So we just need to take away the Pam adding language
Yep.
here.
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. Yes. Perfect. All right. The next bullet, if opting to submit an audio work sample of up to 3 poems instead of a written one, submit a transcript of the poems performed, not to exceed 5 pages, as stated above. Links to audio work should be included in the online nomination form on a sheet of paper turned in with the hard copy nominations. Again, this is much more about accessibility and ensuring everybody has a chance to get their application reviewed. All right, if we're fine with it, we can move on to the next bullet. Any thoughts? A narrative not to exceed 2 pages describing why the nominee wishes to be considered. And number two, what the nominee aspires to accomplish during the 2 years as the St. Louis Poet Laureate. And three, ideas about a theme to be explored during the initial year of service and thoughts on any special projects the nominee might like to take related to the position. Any thoughts about those 3 bullets or 3 lines? Go ahead, Pam.
Just the end of number 3 sounds a little awkward to me.
Mm-hmm.
Ideas about a theme to be explored during the initial year of service and thoughts on any special projects the nominee might like to take related to the position. It sounds kind of funky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Let's wordsmith it.
Maybe ideas about a theme I would just say to explore. I wouldn't say to be explored. A theme to explore during the initial year of service. And any special projects the nominee might want to, I wouldn't say take, I would say any special projects the nominee might like to spearhead, right? Like they want to initiate something, right?
Or just say initiate. I like that.
Yeah,
Any
initiate.
projects the nominee might like to initiate.
Initiate. Yeah. Yeah, I like that better. And I don't think we need related to the position because it would be clear that it's related to the position.
Yep. I like that. Hence initiatives. So that's good. I like it. All right. I guess if everybody is fine with these changes, then let's approve and move forward. Yep. Perfect. This is just language so that people do not do too much guidance, essentially. I know we had considerable conversation around it before, but again, it's just guidance. Any thoughts here?
Should we have spacing on there too? Like we have like the 1-inch margins, 12
Can
point
we
font, but we don't say like single or double there. Should we just say that there?
let's just say it. What is the
Yeah.
preference? Anyone have a preference regarding single or double space?
Probably single if you have, don't we have something about 1 page earlier?
That's right.
Yes.
Yes. Totally understand. Now, this is strictly to ensure that we're all on the same page as it relates to how things should be formatted. Someone will likely have a question or may have ideas about how they want to maximize what's on the page. So I think we should just state it.
If you don't mind, do you mind if I scroll up and make sure that sections 2, 3, and 4 are what we
Please.
want them to be? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the numbers match up.
Okay.
So maybe if you say just the items, be,
Specified above.
yeah. Does that make
Let's
sense,
do. Yeah.
everyone?
Let's do that. Yes. Perfect. All right. Recommendation letters will not be considered.
Does that work for everyone?
Yeah. Failure to provide all required materials results in ineligibility. It's interesting. Like I was thinking about ineligibility as like a state of being. And I don't know if I've ever really considered that being a state. But I'm willing to roll with it. I'm willing to move on. Any thoughts there? Any potential wordsmithing, or are we good with that? Okay.
I think it's really just generally up to you. Like if there's a application comes in that you're really excited about, but maybe there's some piece missing,
Hmm.
do you want to be able to reach back out to the individuals who are being nominated to correct that? Or do you just want to off the cuff, like if something's not included, then basically the application is not able to move forward?
Yes. Probably the latter for me. It's interesting. Like there are a lot of poets out there that I really like, and whatever makes the job easier, honestly. If somebody didn't come the way that they should, and in terms of preparation, then I'm fine with it. If anyone or part of the task force, makes a special effort, I think we can kind of discuss uh decorum and demeanor and things of that nature at a later meeting. But at this time, I think this is fine. I'm good with this. So if we can just go ahead and approve that, how to submit a nomination. I'm good with that. Online submissions are strongly encouraged and preferred, but in the event you are unable to submit electronically, please deliver or mail a copy of your submission to, we have the address, we have a contact person for questions. Christine, thank you for being that person. Any comments, questions, additions, subtractions? Any edits? Okay. I think we're in alignment. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're in alignment. Yep. Good deal. Renomination of poets. We discussed this. There's no comments here, so we can move forward. Ineligible nominees. We've discussed this. We have now previous St. Louis City Poets Laureate. That's fine. Christine, just as a technical point, on how we address the city, is it the city of St. Louis, or are we fine with saying St. Louis City?
I think saying St. Louis City just makes it clear that it's not any other city. So if somebody, and
Got
that's
it.
up to the task force, if you are a poet laureate in Springfield, Missouri,
Sure.
would you be allowed to apply? That's up to you all to decide.
Okay. Okay, I was thinking more so about like however we might want to formally address the city more so than anything else. But yeah, if we're fine with it, we can move forward. Selection criteria. We have a few notes here. Let's review. That's the first bullet. If you're fine with that, then we can approve. Second bullet, ability and willingness to conduct the public engagement duties of the office. We've discussed that. We're all in alignment there. Third bullet, demonstration of excellence in the artistic work as evidenced by originality, mastery of skills and technique, and potential impact on the audience and/or community. Oh yeah, that's we did okay, good. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that if everyone else is. Certainly willing to accept that suggestion for the third bullet. Okay. Okay. And for the fourth bullet, it looks like we're fine there, unless anyone has any notes. Okay, great. Okay, we can move on to the selection process. The St. Louis Poet Laureate Task Force will review all submitted nominations using the same scoring rubric and select at least 3 semifinalists. Any thoughts there? It's okay if anything is weighing on you. You can certainly voice it here. Okay. All right, so we can move forward. Yep.
The only thing I would note is you will all need to decide whether or not you release the scoring rubric with the application process, or if that's something that you're going to choose to keep internal.
Yeah, that is a good question. We can certainly work on that. That can be the topic of discussion when we meet uh next time.
I'll make a note of that.
Thank you. All right. But to be fair, I imagine we will ensure that people can review the rubric because there'll be questions and we can anticipate that to some degree. But again, we'll have a robust conversation about it, I'm sure, at the next meeting. The second bullet point, each semifinalist will be interviewed in person or virtually by the St. Louis Poet Laureate Task Force. That's fine, then we can move forward. We have the correction to the task force, making that uppercase, then everything else. Yeah. I'm fine with all of those edits. Anybody else? Okay. Expectations of the position. We can begin with the first bullet. Certainly review that. Thank you, Christine, for adding that. All right. Any thoughts, any additions, any edits? Otherwise, we can move forward. Okay. So the social media piece, I think initially this was strictly this is from like the original, then that means this was someone's personal social media that they used as the official account. So that poet as the poet laureate, manage their own social media. I think I don't know. I guess official in the sense that they made it official. Was it? I don't think it was anything that the city said.
Yeah, so there's been, I think it's a bit up in the air. I mean, there's just been a lot of case law, not only at the federal level, but in St. Louis City about elected officials, like what makes something an official social media account versus not. Obviously, this is not an elected official, but it's similar. So if you say official, that just kind of gives me pause, and I wasn't able to get a clear answer on this because it's been kind of a wild week at the board towards the end of session, and so I'm happy to report back next week if that's helpful for folks, but I do think
My strong recommendation would be to just take that out. I think it makes much more sense for if someone has their own social media account to be able to put in their bio or something and say official poet laureate of the city of St. Louis. Um, Technically, the administration of those social media accounts comes under my office, and it's a difficult, arduous process. There's a lot of hurdles in the way there. There's a lot of legalities. Um, you mentioned, case law. Like one thing that we're working on right now is archiving because of the sunshine law. And so I would just, if we could, I would recommend just striking that, and we can work with the person. Certainly, my office will work with the person to promote things they're doing and help them on social media. But I don't think we should be creating any new social media accounts. I don't think we should be doing anything like that. I think the best path forward here is for this person, if they do have a social media presence, to just put it in their bio. And then past that, we can use the city accounts that are run out of my office to promote events and uplift the work that way.
yeah, and I know the president's office would be happy to do the same.
That sounds more than reasonable to me. So let's move forward with omitting that.
Yeah, everyone's okay with that?
Yeah. If everyone's, yeah. Great. Let's jump down to the last bullet. Collaborate with other poets. Poets laureate. And poet laureate of Missouri. When possible. Okay. Collaboration is always good. So however we can make that happen. Okay. Estimated timeline. We do have a bullet here. Add date to select semifinalists. Uh Nikki, you had some really clear ideas about like the timeline as we started to lay everything out, right? Um, so if we go with the timeline that we see, nomination process closes. I think you had discussed having about a week to review. So then maybe adding the date to select semifinalists. Do we want to say the following week? Because essentially we have up until our interview process would begin on the 21st. So then that would provide us with some lead time. If we were to name the semifinalists by the 17th or sometime thereabout, it gives us a little bit of lag so that that person can prepare, or those people can prepare for the interview process. Any strong thoughts around a date for selecting the semifinalists? Go ahead, Pam.
It's more of a question. Do we have either like maybe based on past processes, do we have any guesstimate for how many applications, how many nominations?
Sure. I would say the last time we did this, we received 3 applications.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So I'm thinking how like, how everybody's gonna how quickly everybody's gonna move through it. But if it's single digits, I think yeah, a week turnaround is fine.
Yeah,
Is
well,
that
and that's my hope, but we'll see. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, MK. My question was if that was three applications with promotion that the applications were open or with no promotion that the applications were open.
I can't really say anything about the quality of promotion. I think that
Okay.
I can't speak to that. That really wasn't in my purview of support. But
Okay.
I know that personally, I put some things out there, and they and the applicants kind of found their way. I would say from the first go round, even then, I don't think we had more than 10 applicants. I still feel as though it was a fairly small number of people because, especially if you're thinking about, although we have a city full of wonderful poets, not everyone has published. Um, and there's other things in the criteria that probably might give people pause on this go round. And then because we're saying 2 years, they might see this as an opportunity to be prepared in 2027 as opposed to going forward in 2025. So I don't know. I feel like we have a good shot. I would be surprised
Yeah.
if we get an avalanche. But who knows? The avalanche might come. I can't say.
If,
So
oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, if the president's office and the mayor's office shares this, I think there's the likelihood that there's going to be more people who are interested in responding. And I don't remember with specificity, but I'm fairly certain that there wasn't that level of support the
Mm,
last couple of times.
mm,
And just for all of you to kind of look at your calendars around, between March 10th and
Yeah.
21st or April 4th to see if you do, because just want to be thoughtful about everyone's capacity and whether or not you'll be able to get through, even if it's 5 applications and the thought process that goes behind that and figuring out who to ask to come back. Just want to make sure people don't feel tied because it's too time consuming.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Christine, because I was thinking about the probably robust conversation that we would have even with 5 or 10 people, getting the group to collectively decide upon three, maybe a little bit of an effort. Plus, we all have to get together and talk about it. So one, we have the scoring rubric, which I think could, if the applications are closing on the 10th, and if we are just leveraging, okay, everybody just using the rubric that we have, just go through and kind of, uh, I guess, using that week of the 10th through the 14th to get ourselves ready for a discussion to be had as a group the week of the 17th, and selecting those three.
that's fair. What I will also offer is if we trust in the rubric that we construct, that we compose, and we score them, because essentially we would be just spreadsheeting it at this point, right? So everybody has their scores, we'll put it in a spreadsheet, and then we'll have to agree as a group that whatever those scores are, plus or minus our thoughts about an individual applicant, that we have to trust those scores. I know this is still a subjective process, but if we trust in the scores and our ability to be able to score these applicants, then that will become the threshold, and that will get us down to whatever number that we want to seriously discuss among each other when we meet, if that makes sense. So we'll just have, if we trust the process, if we develop the process and we trust the process, then we'll have to just carry through. I mean, that's how I'm thinking about it. I know it's tough, but if we have a clear number of applicants who scored high and then like a clear middling to low, then we'll have to go with the high, and then go from there.
The only other thing I just thought of is February 17th is President's Day. So the city's closed. So I would consider moving the nomination process opening to the Friday before or Tuesday, which is the 18th.
I would say Friday before. I want to give us more time, if at all possible. Any thoughts there?
I would agree.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So February 14th, and then leave it open 3 weeks.
I mean, we could still close that same day if you would like. I would what I'm thinking is instead of waiting until all the applications are in, as the application is available for us to review, we can begin review. Like I don't necessarily want to wait, but I'm open to the wisdom of waiting until all applications are in. But I feel like we can review on a rolling basis.
Yep, I think that makes sense, but also if you are interested, you could close then on March 7th,
Mhm.
and then that would give you like
That weekend. Yeah.
almost 2 weeks to.
Perfect. Perfect. So how do we feel about closing on March 7th? Is that fine? All right,
Yeah.
let's do it. Thank you, Christine. Oh, that's great.
So do you
So,
want to add a date for selecting semifinalists or just leave it as is?
if we take it out and people know that it's going to be an interview process for semifinalists, is it too much? Oh, yeah. Um, good point. Good point. Um, all right. I tell you what, let's go for transparency. If we go for transparency and we add a date, then that date would we want that date to be the 17th, or would we want it to be that Friday before in terms of no, let's say the add a date to select finalists, semifinalists. No, let's not the 17th. Let's when do we want to have that done by? Let's look at the calendar. So if the interview process would technically, okay, go ahead, Pam.
Well, I'm just thinking if we made it the 17th and we had 5 applicants, that's about 2 days to per application, right? To go through it, to
Mhm.
evaluate it, and then also to have a discussion. So I think we need at least that much time.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what is the recommended date? Anybody want to weigh in? So the only people who would be if it's appropriate, the only people who would be reviewing the semifinalists would be the task force. I mean, all the applications in the semifinalists would be up to the task force. Okay. All right. So then we will select the semifinalist because we'll need the time. So then do we want to say so if we have the interviews beginning on the 21st, probably more likely, I guess, the 24th. Do we want to say about the 21st? Or maybe the 19th, as Pam brought up?
I'm sorry, we're saying to select them.
Select the semifinalists.
Yeah, we would probably need to select them um if we want to start interviews on the 21st. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, but that's a possibility. I don't think we have to start on the 21st. That's up to us. So it could start technically the week of the 24th, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, any
And
thought?
Yeah, I'd
then
recommend changing that to maybe we select them by the 21st, so we have time in case,
Mhm.
we need to really discuss, and then we could start the interviews later. Because I mean, if we're only interviewing 3 people, I don't know that we necessarily need like a full 2 weeks for that.
Yeah, I think the hardest work will be narrowing it down to the three, and then we have
Right.
the interviews, and then we have robust conversation, and then after the robust conversation is the recommendation to the Board of Aldermen. So we can move it to the 24th for interviews, like during that period, because we'll have to get them to agree to an interview date, and then we can move forward from there. So is that fine? This estimated timeline? Go
Yeah.
ahead. Yep, Pam.
Oh, I was just saying yes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And we would just have to set the expectation for how many of us or whom of us you want in those interviews, because I would imagine that would be another difficult task is coordinating. I mean, I guess if we're going with the idea of them selecting time slots, then we would do the same. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the recommendation before,
yeah.
that we would hold space, and then we'll give the the people the option. And we'll also want to think about the length of time for the interview and such. So I think in an upcoming meeting we can work out the logistics of it so that it is fair to the applicant and fair to us. So
Yeah.
And I did make a note of that for next meeting when you're going over the rubric, that it's probably smart for you to all look at your schedules and just set aside some time for those interview days.
excellent. Excellent. All right. All right. Any other thoughts about this estimated timeline? Are we good to go?
If everyone's comfortable, I think it would be good for you all to like have a motion and a vote on accepting the updates to this document to be posted on the website.
So then let's can I get a motion to accept the this update to the Poet Laureate webpage?
I moved to. Oh, you got it,
Go
Nikki.
ahead, Pam.
I moved to accept the revised or the updated Poet Laureate guidelines to the webpage.
Second, can I get a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. So the motion carries, and I think we're in good shape. Thank you so much for that guidance, Christine. Any as we close out today, any announcements, anything that anyone would like to share before we end our business? Totally understand. So let's close it out officially. Um so can we bring this meeting to adjournment? Do we have to put that to a vote, or we're good?
I would just ask for a first and second.
Cool. Any can I get a motion to end our meeting today?
I move to adjourn our meeting today.
Second.
Second. Oh.
second it.
Okay, cool. It's been properly moved and seconded. I think we're in good shape, right? We're done. Cool. Thank you all so much for your time. I do appreciate it.